potato farmer
There's
in
coming at you,
Skyblock
supersonic speed.
destined to end in
Some of them
failure?
do want me, some of them human.
No,
What
I
I do to
refuse.
get to
The
me,
sunk
supreme.
cost
And then
fallacy
man,
wouldn't allow
anything
it.
says
If
you're
I
saying of
wanted
me,
to
and
defeat a
I'm
man
not
that
saying
had
what I'm
descended
saying. I
into
do.
potato
When I feel
madness, I
myself
would
doing
have to
nothing,
take his
his violence.
insanity and cripple it. It was at this moment I spoke words that had never been uttered in the history of Skyblock. I should get minion expanders. Minion expanders have long been known as the most useless item in Skyblock. They know how all minions have this like 5x5 area in which they work. They don't actually need this area. They could work with one block just as fine, because all they do is break a block,
Wait a minute.
and then they place it right back. They don't need options.
Why are you playing my old levels? Who are you?
5x5 area into a 7x7 area. Why? Why would the minion need more options so it doesn't get bored? Go with this layer up to hand. Minion expansion buff minions 8x5%, which is still garbage. Diamond spreading gives like 5
You,
times
and what
the
do you-
buff, and I didn't have enough space
Who
to put
are
buff
you and what do you
on my
want
minions.
with my old
Unfortunately,
levels?
Diamond spread and only gives diamonds. If I wanted to become number one, I'd have to sacrifice all that free money.
Who is that?
5% more potatoes. With the minion expansion taking up so much extra space, the potato curve was no longer enough to fit all my minions within the
Who
farming
was
distance
that?
radius. So I built
Who the heck
Potato
was that?
Dome. Boasting
Suck of
5
his sink.
floors, the potato dome could fit all 22 expanded minions. And after I'd finished upgrading the rest of them to level 9, the potato dome could now produce 337,000 potatoes per day. At this point, the potato dome was the most powerful potato farm in Skyblock. I was ranked 20 on the leaderboard, sliding to that, and yet I knew in my heart that it wasn't enough. It wasn't even close. But what more could I do? Farm potatoes by hand? I actually did for like an hour and made a tiny dent. Sure, it would have worked eventually, but come on, is mindlessly repeating the same task for hundreds of hours really what Skyblock is all about? Okay, yeah, pretty much, but I wasn't about to. When I
Yes,
said 100 hours, I was not
yes.
kidding.
Yep.
Yet, as time went on,
Not hack
it
level.
began to
I
seem
already
like that
know.
was truly the only way. The opportunity to meet at the end. Flaw with Squid Kid's potato farm. His minions
Particle Party
were too
2.
close together. Now, with any other kind of minion, that wouldn't have mattered
Is
at
it
all.
just
But potato
Particle Party?
minions are unique. When they're too close together, they'll start trying to plant in spots the other minions already planted and get stuck in an infinite loop, dragging down the overall farm's potato output by as much as 90%. The reason he hadn't noticed this and was still first place in potatoes is because this only happens when someone is online and on the island. Because otherwise, Skyblock just runs a calculation to guess how many resources your minions would have made while you were offline. Anyways, he left the door to his AFK machine open, so I left my alt in there. Welcome to the real world, Squid
Good at
Kid.
the game.
Okay, give me
Beat
two
auto
more. Talk
levels.
about Jerry. All right, I got Jerry.
Not
here.
good at the game.
Got Jerry there.
Beat auto
There's
levels.
actually 2 Jerrys in there. I have video evidence, okay? Look at this. He's multiplying. He's undergoing mitosis. But that's not all. The other day I was just minding my business and then... Why is he there? I knew I couldn't rely just on Savage to get first place. Because who knows if there's other people...
I went down to the local McDonald's, but they didn't have any Jazzy Juice. I sat down crying with my dog, but we continued on. I ran 50 miles. They all told me you'll never find it. The only thing you'll find is a knuckle sandwich. So I asked my friends and I asked my wall, where is Jazzy Juice? I turned around and saw
Die
it
with my eyes, and I'm faster than the sky. I was almost in reach of the juice, but then my shoes loose.
So one day, when I went to AFK on his
How
island...
do we that?
Oh god, he's online. What do you want? Why do you keep doing this? I just wanted to check on the Last Supper, man. You AFK'd on my island for 12 hours. It was a good painting. I figured Squid Kid would find it a little bit suspicious if the same guy was AFK at his island every day. So I got a second account, and then I left them both in there. Be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness. What? Why? Why are you guys here? I've been buying some enchanted baked potatoes from the auction house. It's not the most efficient use of my money, but look, I need potato 11 minions if I want to catch up as quickly as possible. We can't only have 2. It's not enough. Well, I mean, it is enough, but I want to upload within the next week. But the problem with the auction house is that it's filled with crazy people.
Collab.
Look at this guy. He's spit in 3.9.
Oh, this level's
26. You
impossible
think that's
past
bad?
40%.
11
There's
million.
a 40% timing that's like frame perfect, but it actually just doesn't work.
I could understand that. 11 million.
It really
deranged
sucks.
Psychopath. There's no justification.
It's an impossible
Send
level
this
anyway,
man
though.
to prison after a
I don't know
couple
where
days
Human
of
Gaming
farming
went. He
by
kind of
Human
quit
Gaming
after this
at
collab.
102, which in regular potatoes is over 2.6 million, and we can only make.
This was like
4
his last
max
project,
Potato minions.
pretty much.
That's all we can make. That's how
This was
expensive
legit his
max
last
potato
project.
minions are. They're so
I,
good.
it
But
really
doesn't matter
sucks.
because they cost so much. It's never going to pay off. They're all
fake.
gone.
This is a level my friend gave me instructions to make.
I had to sell everything so that I could invest in
This
potatoes.
is before I had actual structure.
Rare cake collection.
Okay, and then I actually tried with structure a tiny
I
bit.
had to mortgage my house. It's crazy out there. I actually did pretty well during the Halloween event. It allowed me to raise a lot of money. But I'm just saying, look at this spooky pile, right? Limited edition items with my name and pig rank stamped on them. Could you imagine how much money I would make if I put this on the auction? I would make Dan TDM's 15 mil water bottle look like tap water. He left a sign for me, whitelisted. What do you want from me? I'm just ruining Squid Kid's whole life. He's traumatized. He's just living in fear. Why are they here? Why do they keep showing up? But after a few days, I had to resort to my final weapon, the catalyst. The catalyst is the strongest fuel source in the game, tripling your minion output. They only last for 3 hours. Fortunately, I had a
Okay, there's a
with the
glitch,
power
so
of
you can't
catalyst,
use the buffer
potato
or anything.
output skyrocketed.
324.
All back into leveling up my minions, and in a matter of days, I had 22 potato 11.
What is that record?
893,000
Do I have to bring back
I don't
the
make hot
record?
potato books. I make hot potato libraries. Originally, I thought I'd have to go bankrupt buying Catalyst if
I'm
I
gonna
wanted to
get
catch up
a
to Squid Kid,
record
but I
on my
actually
level.
discovered that Catalysts are
Longest
amazing. I can buy the materials to make one for like 10,000 coins on the auction, and then each of them makes 14,000 coins in potatoes. This is a miracle. It's free money. So every day I sold hot potato books, and then I bought more crystals. And then I sold more hot potato books, and then I bought more crystals. And that's the story of how I made infinite money. Well, not really, 'cause you can only use so many per day, but I made a lot, and now I was ranked 3 in potatoes.
Did that say 8 hours or 8
Found
minutes?
the guy ranked number 2 in potatoes. I'm gonna give you guys 3 guesses as to who left a funny rating on his post. Squid Kid! I was right on his tail, but I decided to visit his island to see just how strong his potato farm was. Oh, this is a joke. This is pathetic. Only 18 minion slots. This is just sad. I've seen Irish salmons with more potatoes than this farm. You might get away with this farming from this garbage vegetable like carrots. But potatoes? How dare you? Oh my god, this crystal, it only covers 5 of these minions. Oh, I'm gonna throw up. Against a farm like that, I easily took rank number 2. It seemed like I was only 1 step away from my potato dreams, and yet Squid Kid had been so dominant on the potato leaderboards that he was still 3 million potatoes ahead. But with Catalyst, such a lead could be destroyed in a matter of days. Still, to be safe, I kept AFKing on this island, until one day, I checked my alt window for a moment, and the island was full of 2 guys I'd never heard of before, and called the police on Squid Kid.
49
brought a helper to investigate him. Who called
minutes.
the police? Whitelisted. Are you Squid Kid's alt? No, I just AFK here a lot. As a hobby, I'm so suspicious. He doesn't believe me at all. I'm getting banned. He'd been investigating while Squid Kid was offline. I met him later that day and decided to warn him. Squid, I know we've had our differences, but the police are after you, man. I saw a helper. Squid. There were 2 dudes, Squid. They came to your island with the helper. They were snitching. I don't know any names. Okay, let me get my screenshots.
Well,
I
that's
gotta be
forever
careful,
there.
man. The snitches be everywhere.
Forever.
Anyways, I'm gonna go
And
AFK
have-
now. Just
GG
act
won a
natural. Just
Good luck first wave.
When I told him the names, That is serial killer talk. We ain't gonna be hearing from those two guys ever again. I kept
Fading
farming potatoes,
away.
and in a matter of days, Squid Kid's lead
Good
was almost
for
completely
you.
destroyed. And yet Squid Kid
Good
himself
for
had no idea. He even put a
People think
billboard
this
on
could
his
get
island
faster.
for #1 in potatoes. But why would he suspect? Just a few days ago, he'd seen proof on the forums that he was millions.
So there's that.
The poor fool had no idea what was coming. Has it updated? It hasn't updated. Alright, has it updated? Number 1 in potatoes. Had already been taken, so I went to confront him myself one final time. What do you want? Why are you doing this? Your potato rank 1 spot is now mine. He's checking. He's checking. How? For years, my machinations lay undetected. This is all I have. Squid. Squid, I found a problem with your island. A critical flaw. Get over here. Over here. Squid. Squid, get over here. This sign, it has the wrong number. Pretty bad week for Squid Kid overall, I'd say. First he got arrested, and then I cyberbullied him, but it had to be done. And let me just say, there is no chance of him catching up. I even got 23 minion slots just to bury any hope he had. This spot is mine, and that's the story of how I became #1 on the potato leaderboards, and we lived happily ever after. All the loose ends finally tied together. Well, except for one thing. Oh God, there's another one. There's another Jerry. And he's staring right at me. There's another one. There's a Jerry in the water. No. There's another one out there. I don't understand. What do you want? What do you want? There's another Jerry on the bridge. They've got me surrounded. I don't understand. The other day I was farming potatoes by hand when a man visited my island.
Serial
and asked,
hatredness.
why? Didn't you already win
Pure
the potato
luck.
war? But no, the potato war.
9.
To understand how things ended up like this, we've got to go back to November. When I dethroned Squid Kid and became the #1 potato farmer in Skyblock, I went to his island and laughed at him for half an hour. Then my co-op member showed up, and we all started laughing at him. It was not a good day for Squid Kid. He updated it. And then I left. Squid warned me that he wasn't giving up on rank #1, but I didn't care, so I uploaded The Great Potato War. But in the days after that, I did nothing. I'd spent so long working to become #1. Now that I had done it, I didn't feel anything at all. I had no idea what to do with myself. I mean, the video did all right, but not nearly enough to justify the time I had spent on it. And after I uploaded it, so many people started using potato minions that the price of potatoes dropped 30% in the auction house. My plans to become rich had failed both in-game and in real life, but at least I had my potato rank. But when I visited Squid Kid's island 3 days later, what I found shocked me. He had 23 minion slots. Now, when I made the Great Potato War, some people criticized me for violating Sun Tzu's most basic tenet. Whatever you do, don't reveal all your techniques in a YouTube video. You fool. You moron. But my belief that the potato war was already over hadn't been baseless. Between my 3 extra minion slots, most of Squid's minions not being max level, and the price of Catalyst skyrocketing due to needing the same materials as the new quest, Squid Kid would need almost 100 million coins to catch up. And I knew for a fact he was broke. I decided to do some investigative journalism. I'd seen a new sign on Squid's Island advertising his new guild. So I did what any normal person would do and bought another alt account, and then I infiltrated the guild. But what I found confirmed my worst fears. People were helping Squid Kid. I'd cyberbullied Squid too hard. People had seen the video, felt bad, and gone to his island to hand him the spare items he needed to make more slots, or in some cases just pay him millions of coins, all with the express purpose of defeating Technoblade once and for all. Now I can't complain about other people getting free stuff, but watching tens of millions get given to my arch nemesis by my own viewers, it was a blow. In a week he had a farm even stronger than my own. My worst fears had been realized. Squid was catching up. If I wanted to remain number 1, I had to act fast. Once more I consulted the wisdom of ancient times. Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. I couldn't let Squid learn of my plans, so I boarded up the potato dome. I hired goons and swore them to secrecy. I knew Squid would be monitoring my actions, so I started an SMP series to throw him off the trail. And like that, I began my plan. I knew there was only one way to defeat Squid once and for all, by building a farm so powerful it reached the theoretical potato limit. And to do that, I would have to do something no solo player had ever done before. Unlock the 24th minion slot. It wasn't relatively easy. Fortunately, I'd already reached 100 million coins by selling potatoes before prices had fallen. I paid my goons to start gathering the resources we needed, whether that's Spider's Den, where I fought Tier 4 Tarantula bosses until I reached Spider Slayer 5, unlocking the Tarantula minion, which gave several new minion crafts. Progress was steady, but we soon encountered an obstacle, Enchanted Button. It was such a useless item that even if you had the money to pay for it, nobody was selling it on the auction house. I was going to manually to find something actually cheap, so I could trade for it. Guys, they had pulling up Google, are you? You wanted some enchanted sugar cane, so that's the approximate equivalent to value. Pleasure doing this.
More sight
I
readability.
partially forgive you for your past crimes. Alright, it took 3 days and over 80 million coins, but we finally got all the materials we need to craft. Just look at this. It's beautiful. It's so organized. These are enough to make 50 unique crafts. And then we'll have 24 minion slots, so we're just gonna speed up the crafting here. We did it, boys! The 24th minion was up, and my farm was now producing 1,067,000 potatoes per day. I now had the maximum number of minions, but if I wanted to make the greatest possible potato farm, it was still an upgrade. Yeah, an upgrade even though all the added upgrades were on the website I used, Kids Auction, was already up. I had no other choice. I once said that the most useless item in the game is a minion expander, but that was before I learned about the flycatcher. The flycatcher is an upgrade that increased movement speed by 10%, 5%. Not believe how difficult it is to make a flycatcher. First, you need a fly swatter, which drops from less than 1% of high-level tarantula bosses, and then you need over 10 million coins worth of tarantula silk. To give you guys a quick visual of how many materials we're gonna need some of this, a little bit of this too, some of this, some of that, some of these, and a little bit of that. And if we combine all of that together, we can make one flycatcher. I need 24 of these. It was a daunting task, but I knew we had to start immediately. I'd been stalking Squid Kid's Twitter, so I knew he was a college student, and it was late November. Exam season. Squid Kid would be at his weakest. We had to get as many flycatchers as we could before I once more gathered my goons and ordered them to acquire the needed materials. My main problem was money. I still had a few tens of millions of coins left over, but if I wanted 24 flycatchers, that wasn't even close to enough. Fortunately, the Potato Dome was making over 3 million coins per day, not including the cost of buying Catalyst, which was not an issue for me. Remember when I flexed on all of you with my chest full of Catalysts? Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I was holding back. One of the things I did to raise money was grind candy during spooky festivals, which is how I unlocked this skeleton horse pet, which was a huge flex back in November, and now nobody cares at all. But the important thing about this skeleton horse pet is that there's actually a bug that most people don't know about. The skeleton horse can trample crops on other people's islands. Just kidding. I'd never do something like that, because I'm a good person. It turns out it's really easy to horse, so the people visited my island formed an orderly queue to wait their turn to break into the dome. This community is the worst. Getting tarantula silk is taking weeks, but getting the fly swatters is actually quite easy. Sure, it's an incredibly rare boss drop, but I think it's only useful for making fly captures, and I can only 2 people in the circle are going, which is how my alt account ended up in a video war with Squid Kid. Why did he do And I've been kicked. The people breaking into the dome have now started a potato cult. About this. It
I need
ended
to
up
make
taking
another
5
bot
weeks
of
of constant
this.
grinding, but on Christmas Eve we finally had 24 flycatchers.
Yeah.
This was either, and 2 weeks later he too had the strongest theoretical potato farm. Now the only way for him to catch up would be to farm potatoes by hand, and he had already started. I spent 10 hours constructing a gigantic potato farm covering over 21,000 blocks. For the next part of my plan, I went to Pigacle. Yeah, this is mine.
Alright.
I made an AFK machine.
No!
Planted potatoes would keep growing even when I
No!
wasn't online. For a few days in January, there was a bug affecting a lot of farming minions. Potato minions were only making 33% the potatoes they were supposed to. Like any normal person, I immediately asked myself, how can I use this information to destroy my enemies? Hey, Squid, notice anything about your minions lately? Yeah? I farmed potatoes for so long that I began to question my sanity. I knew it was bad when one time, after finishing planting potatoes, I took a nap. And when I woke up, I had no idea how long I'd been asleep. But when I checked my farm, I instantly knew, these potatoes have been growing for 3.5 hours. Shut up, I don't have a problem. Overall, Squid ended up farming over 1 million potatoes by hand. In that same time, I farmed over 5 million. I had to replant this entire field 19
this is the
times.
original, 100%.
Monitored Squid's live streams on Twitch to the point where I amassed 9,000.
We're gonna go. We need Minecraft Mondays to come back.
At this point, I was pretty confident in winning the potato war, but the problem is I had no idea how large my lead was. I could see my own potato count and what rank I am. Squid has disabled the API setup that allows other people to see exactly how many potatoes he's had. Little does he know, I have spent the last 4 months meticulously updating a spreadsheet of our potato counts, which I did by crawling through his farm and timing each of his minions with a stopwatch every day to calculate his exact potato output. Based on the math, I should be about 22 million potatoes ahead, which would take over 200 hours of farming by hand to at least 25 minutes. Again, I have farmed 100. While I was talking squid on my own, I was piling on them in the chat. They were
because of technical.
I just like to take a moment to defend Squid Kid and say it's not skill to grasp
Just not getting cereal?
He's an adult. He doesn't care.
You're just not getting cereal?
Because he's been dealing with cringe hate for too long, man. We got it. Squid Kid thinks he can take my potato rank. He'd better go farm for 1,000,000 years. It ain't happening, dude. So many techniques. Farming potatoes. He's
With moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, my skin was no longer mine.
My active psoriatic arthritis joint symptoms held me back.
Don't let symptoms define you. Emerge as you. With Tremfya, most people